Hey everyone, welcome to This Week in Marketing Show, also known as the TWIM Show. I'm your host Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates in the digital marketing space from the week of August 10, 2020. So first of all, we are going to start off with Facebook. Facebook has launched paid online events. What that basically means is that now you can, not only advertise or share about your events online on Facebook pages, but you can also collect payments on that, right? And there are some qualifications to get access to that. There are, as always with Facebook, you have to go through and meet certain criteria. There are some rules. And what Facebook is saying that, if you do this transaction, if someone is doing transactions on the web from a browser, then obviously you will get 100% of the cut, the revenue. And if someone is opting for your events from their iOS or Android app, then you're going to get 70% off it because of the 30% App Store tax. They're calling it App Store tax that the Apple or Google is going to apply to it, and so you're going to reduce money. So now, where I'm going with this and what I'm trying to share with you is that, look, should you use this? Maybe, maybe not. Like I've always covered on my show that, this is something, Facebook is a double-edged sword. And what do I mean by that? Again, I will cover it for the nth time. It's like, this is great. It gives you distribution, that it gives you access to user. Facebook has over 2 billion users now. So it gives you all this stuff. But the thing with Facebook is like they have all this list of criteria. They launched it on August 14th. Today is the 16th. So about 2 days ago, they launched it in the US and 19 other countries. Now, so where I'm going with this is like, what happens if your Facebook profile has been deactivated, right? You are again, banking on only Facebook. Maybe this would be an added channel for you, but not the only channel. Keep that in mind, right? Facebook, and again, one of the requirements I looked at it is like you have to have authentic content. Obviously, if you're a creator, you're doing something like, for example, you're doing yoga or cooking classes, that's authentic content. But there are other rules and things, you have to, jump and dance around. But nevertheless, it's essential to see where Facebook is going from a business perspective, right? They realize they have the user base. Users are always going to Eventbrite and all this third-party ticketing platform to get collect payments and things like that. Facebook is like, hey, why should we lose out on this thing? Even though Facebook is saying you can keep 100% of the revenue if you do it on the web. For now, I believe in the future when they have enough momentum and traction, they're going to also, claw into it. And that's one of the reasons, Facebook is against the 30% App Store tax, which from Google and Apple, because if they're taking 30% and Facebook takes 10%, that's 40%, right? So Facebook doesn't really have any room to actually make money out of this unless they kind of fight off Apple and Google and figure out, if they can reduce the 30% down to 20%, then Facebook can take 10%, that's 30%, and you still get to keep 70%. I know it's all math and I'm probably talking too fast, but in a sense, right now you have another channel to advertise your event. Now, whether do you need to pay to get the reach, that's a different thing. We'll figure it out on another show. With that, let's move on to the next one. Right. The next update is like, Facebook has updated page follow settings, which allows you to control what you see. Previously, we could just follow a page and that's about it. Right now, users can, when I go follow a page, I could say, I just want to see posts, highlights, videos, live videos, offer, things like that. That basically means, now I just don't have to say follow a page and then everything else is going to show up in my news feed. Like, for example, if you're following our show or if you go to our page, you could choose any of these options, right? And figure it out. Again, this also creates a challenge for a small business. Now we gotta figure out where do we push what, right? There's a lot of strategy and things going on. And, I hear that Facebook is also working on a new business page design, which basically is going to remove the like counts entirely because that doesn't make any sense with this new option that they're doing. What they're going to do is follower count, right? With that, I believe it's going to be how many followers you have. And again, with Facebook, they keep they're constantly changing their things because they're tweaking things to figure out what's going to be more valuable to their business and how can they keep users engaged. With the follower count, maybe I like it to some extent because a like is a really crappy count. Now how are they going to calculate follower remains to be seen. But nevertheless, I think I like it because now users, businesses can user can decide, hey, I just want to follow posts, I just want to see videos, or I just want to be in front of a live video. So guys, you have to figure out, folks, you have to figure out what your content strategy is going to be on Facebook. With that, let's move on to the next one. The next one is not so much, but again, it is because there are messages underneath it is that Facebook has removed over 1,000 ad targeting options, and they're claiming it is due to low usage. Now, is it because, and the targetings are like multicultural affinity segments, so basically now they're saying, hey, you don't want to use multicultural affinity, instead use use target people using language or culture. Also they're combining target options which represents military bases or regiments and saying we can reach audiences by targeting people who are interested in military. Now why they're removing, they're saying that hey, people are not using all these options, so it's just not being used. Or is it because they realize that these are options that could be used to do some bad stuff and we just remove it before anyone else does, and they're not going to say that, hey, these were options that could be done, that you could have done bad stuff with it. And now if you do not know what bad stuff I'm referring to, I'm giving an example. One of the example was where people have used Facebook to show certain homes to certain demographic people, and that was a big no-no in the US because it basically fosters, or it basically gives discrimination, housing discrimination. It basically allows housing discrimination, which is an illegal thing in the US. And that was, I believe, in the 2016 or 2017. That's when kind of that came out in the news. So Facebook is doing it, but the one thing you need to remember and you need to do is that Facebook is removing some thousand plus ad targeting options, and they're claiming it to be due to low usage. With that, let's go on to the next one. Is Facebook is testing new insights and metrics for individual posts in groups. That's kind of an interesting point. What that basically means is that Facebook groups remain their more focus point. And they realize people crave privacy. They don't want to really post a lot of their thoughts into publicly. They would rather go into these private groups and discuss about it. And if you're following our show, you would probably know that about a few shows back I covered how Facebook has allowed certain group privacies cannot be changed. The way you could go from public to private, but private to public, I don't think it allows that anymore, just because of the security nature. Because if they allow that, then basically you could be pouring your hearts out in about an issue that you're probably very passionate about and being very vulnerable within your community. Then if that group become public, then everyone can see what you have thought about it, right? Again, it's not that I'm talking about, this is an update about how they are, going to calculate your engagements, but this is going to be beyond the usual engagements that we are they're currently allowing you to track as a group admin, in terms of other stuff. Your member of the group is engaging with the content. And now who's a member of a group that Facebook is quote unquote, a member is considered active if at the time of the post, if they have viewed the group content in the group or in the newsfeed in the past 28 days. So that's a very loosey-goosey way of saying who is an active member of the group. But that's good for information for you to know. If you see I have X amount of active member and you do not know what that is all about, that they are basically counted in if someone's just viewed your group content, or they basically your group content showed up in the in your news feed and they just scroll past it. right? They don't have to necessarily engage with it. So that gives you a metric to focus on, in terms of what's happening. If you're a group owner, it helps you to a certain extent, and you use it the way you want to do. Let's move on. Okay, next up we have Instagram is making a big push to clean up their platform, right? Basically, they're trying to remove bots, and they announced some of the ways they're going to clean it all up. They're basically, they're gonna see they're saying they've trained their platform, quote unquote AI/machine language, to see a pattern of potential inauthentic behavior. And if they see something, they're gonna prompt the people behind the accounts to confirm the information, so that they can figure out who is really the person behind the account, which may basically mean that you may have to upload your identity card or driver's license card, things like that. And Instagram actually Instagram aka Facebook went a little bit beyond that, and they're saying they're gonna use various data points to figure out if the account needs to be flagged or not, right? So what this basically means is that they're gonna see if your account is, say, for example, if our account is based in the US and if we have a lot of followers from, say, other locations, or if I'm logging, if our US account, but I'm logging in from different locations at a given time, Facebook is gonna basically think that's an inauthentic behavior, because obviously people don't travel as much anymore. Again, I'm joking here. So Facebook has Facebook's way. Again, this is their way of to collect data and figure things out and slowly clean up their platform over a period of 6, 12, and 18 months, right? Over time, they will keep flagging people and say, hey, so this is way, because if they can really clean up their platform and have authentic users, that gives them more power. But what's really interesting for you to know is that that way they're going to clean up this Instagram platform, and they're saying they will, if you have to when you have to upload your ID to verify your account, to basically they will keep your information for 30 days during the review process, and after that they will delete this information. But if we all know, can we really trust this platform to delete? Oh, they will be like, oh, hey guys, sorry, we have forgotten to clean it up, so it's there, but we will do it now. I'm not being really sarcastic here. I'm being sarcastic just because the way these platforms have always worked. But guys, now know that this is coming in. So if your account's blocked, or Facebook is saying they're not going to block your account if you don't verify information, they're just gonna reduce your reach. But for some reason, if you see your reach has tanked, or if you see that you cannot access your account, you know what happening is. Basically, Instagram aka Facebook is just cleaning up their platform. Okay, so that's all from Instagram. Let's move on to the next one, which is from our friend at TikTok, right? TikTok's like the new kid in the block that's been in the news. President Trump said that he's going to ban TikTok if they don't get a deal in 45 days with Microsoft. And again, I hear there are stuff going on in terms of TikTok being acquired. Not just Microsoft. My sources tells me that even Amazon is in the game right now. Amazon is trying to buy TikTok. TikTok has already had a meeting with Twitter to see if they TikTok and Twitter partnerships or thing really works out or not. But we'll see that. But this update is that TikTok has signed up a 3-year deal with New York Yankees. So why am I covering this here is that, TikTok, while there is a lot of talk about being banned, TikTok is not really focusing on that. It's just chugging along and moving forward and, inking all this partnership, knowing that, this whole ban thing is not going to take into effect, right? So TikTok is not really dwelling on trying to play defensive. They're playing very offensive and just going in and signing this deal with New York Yankees. Now, who wins out of this is New York Yankees, because they're basically TikTok. When they say they're basically deal, TikTok is paying New York Yankees about $10 million for 3 years in exchange for promotional spots, including signage at the Yankee Stadium. So, but keep that in mind, right? That's something that should, as a business owner or as a marketing person, it kind of shows that TikTok is really being very bullish, going on offensive, signing up all these deals, because knowing that they're going to come out of this whole ban thing on the other end and basically come out stronger. With that, the one other thing that I would like to cover on TikTok is TikTok seems like they're launching the TikTok certification platform, just how Facebook has the Facebook Blueprint certification, and if you can access it, and if you can get certified, it's not available to everyone, but if you can get certified, then you will have this TikTok badge, and that says you're a TikTok pro, and that will probably help you for your business, right, as an agency. So now, because where this is all going is like the URL for the sign up URL is actually ends with .co.uk. It's not a .com. That kind of tells me it's probably open only for the UK platform. But if you really want to check it out, go ahead and go to, I'm trying to see if I have the link saved up somewhere here or not. I don't, but I will go ahead and put it in the show notes. It's, I think, tiktoktutorials.co.uk, and I tried tiktoktutorials.com and it didn't really work out. tiktoktutorials.co.uk is the one where you could actually sign up and see if you're eligible to basically participate in the TikTok certification or not. In other news, TikTok has actually announced the first recipients of the new creator funds. And with that, we also found out some of the details in terms of who is eligible and who's not eligible of this creator fund. So TikTok is saying you must be 18 years old or older. You have to post content in line with community guidelines and have at least 10,000 followers and have 10,000 video views from the last 30 days. So folks, if you are watching it and you're thinking, hey, I want to tap into this TikTok creator fund, now you know the guidelines, right? You have to be 18 or above. You have to post content in line with TikTok guidelines and need to have at least 10,000 followers. And we all know it's easy to get followers on TikTok. Have 10,000 video views from the last 30 days. It's quite an easy thing. And TikTok is marketing this fund as a way to uplift creators of all sizes and backgrounds. So if you're sitting on the fence and thinking if you should jump into the TikTok fray or not, or tap into this fund or not, I would say just go ahead before everyone else finds out, and then there's a big rush and the bars are set much higher, right? It's better to be first in line than to be in the middle of the last in line. Moving on, in other news, while we are on the while we are still on the video stuff, is that Vimeo has partnered with Pinterest to enable streamlined video pin creation. So what this basically means, and I saw the demo, is like with Vimeo Create, now they have templates. We could use that, upload and create pins, and then push it directly into Pinterest. This is exciting. I mean, exciting in a couple of ways. Number one is Vimeo is positioning itself as not just another video hosting platform, but a platform where you can create, and then now other platforms you can create, you have to download and re-upload. From Vimeo, you can go directly into Pinterest. So this is an exciting partnerships, and I feel like this is something we're going to see more and more coming in, whether it's Animoto or promo.com or something like that. They're going to be partnering up, and they says, hey, you can create you can create videos on our platform, and now from here, since it's an online web platform, why do you have to download? And I always hated it. It's like I used to have Google Drive, right? I still do, but I'm going to tell you why I changed that. I say I used to is before I would basically upload a file, download a file. It was just a lot of painful exercise, like uploading, downloading file. Then I saw this Google Drive for business. I forgot. Let me check what this is called. I probably don't have it, but basically what it does, this thing from Google, I installed it last week, was it's a drive and Google basically creates a virtual drive on my laptop, right? And then I don't save any file locally. I just can write directly into that Google Drive, and I can take files out of that Google Drive directly as if it's a virtual drive. And so it's great. It saves me a lot of time in terms of a lot of clicks, makes things easier. So Vimeo Create is going like that way, in that direction, and I kind of like that. I like that. I wish all the platforms start to do that, because it just saves us a lot of time. Moving on, folks, next we have Twitter. Twitter rolled out, in terms of reply controls. So the way it works is, like, before we tweet, we can choose who can reply with 3 options. One is everyone, standard Twitter and the default setting. The other one is people I only follow, or number 3, people I mention in my tweets, right? So Twitter is trying to enable privacy now, because there have been a lot of drive-bys on Twitter platforms. It still goes on, where I could post a tweet about something I believe in, and then there will be like people seeing that tweet and commenting on, and like blah blah blah. It will be interesting to see how Mr. Trump, President of the United States, or all these other politicians' tweets are getting sent out. Are they going to still do a standard tweet, or are they going to do which is a default setting, or are they going to basically people they follow? Because again, for someone like, say, President Trump or Joe Biden, the presidential nominee, they don't follow as many people as people who follows them. They will probably just use the standard Twitter. But then again, for you and me, the regular folks, right, we don't want these haters or these drive-bys, or we don't want these trying to think of this word, the trolls, to come and really stamp on our stuff. So we could actually erect some fences around it, in terms of hey, I just want people who I follow to be able to comment, or maybe certain ones. We'll see. But nevertheless, it's a great thing from Twitter. I really, really like it. And if you're into tweeting, then you should definitely use one of these, depending on whether you want others to engage with the topic or not. With that, let's move on to YouTube. It's a very quick update from YouTube, is that YouTube will stop sending new content emails to channel subscribers. So what that basically means, in the past, YouTube used to basically, if you were following my channel or our show channel, then every time we would upload a video, you would get a notification via email that says, hey, we just released a new video, uploaded a video. Now, according to YouTube, or aka Google, is that this was like less than 0.1% of people would actually open up these emails, and they are saying this is just like makes no sense, right? We are cluttering people's inboxes. People are not checking their emails. This is something they're not really paying attention to. So we'll just take it out. Now, important emails will still come in. Important emails such as changes to your account, service announcements, they will not be impacted by this update. In other news, I would like to share with you is like when LinkedIn did that, engagement on LinkedIn platform has gone up a lot more, right? And I see that LinkedIn as well. Like I will get emails about, hey, someone has messaged you, but it won't tell me what the message is all about. But we'll see if you were relying on YouTube informing your user base or subscriber base every time your new video gone up, then this is something you want to keep in mind. Nevertheless, if YouTube is saying 0.1% of the people would actually open up their email, then you probably are not probably using this thing. Let's move on. The next update, and hopefully this is the last update of this week, is that LinkedIn has sold SlideShare to Scribd. Why it is interesting to mention in our news is that SlideShare was languishing. I mean, LinkedIn was like treating it like the forgotten child or the stepchild, because it wasn't getting the love. It was just there, and I think us selling it off basically means that LinkedIn has decided that they don't want to do anything with this thing, and they just rather go to Scribd. And I'm glad that this happened, because I feel like SlideShare as a platform has a lot of value, and here's why. We have been thinking about, content strategy. As part of our content strategy, we've been thinking of uploading our presentation, the slide deck, into SlideShare. However, I already have another SlideShare account, and I couldn't create a second account for this business. It was a challenge. By going to Scribd, Scribd is automatically indexed. So this just basically creates another content, another data point for a content data point, or another angle for our, marketing, right? Content strategy, which, now we could write a blog about our show. You could upload the video on YouTube. We can upload the audio on Transistor, and we can actually publish it in Facebook. And now we could upload the slide deck into Scribd. So look at that. One, content repurposing, content strategy wise, I like that. Up until now, I was not able to do it just because of SlideShare limiting. I could only, my SlideShare account was tied to LinkedIn, and I could only have one SlideShare account. So, let's see. Alrighty, folks, that's it for this week in marketing. Now you know everything that you need to know to be in the know. If you'd like to read more, make sure you visit our show page where you will find the links to the articles. And if you enjoyed this episode of This Week in Marketing, please make sure you subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Once again, this is your host Sajid Islam signing off until next week.